What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm happy to have you here today. Today we are going to take a second look at the Exodus Rival Cell Cam. Now, I made a video about this camera end of February where I did an unboxing, I did a full activation, I showed you guys how the ScoutTech app worked, and then I showed you guys a little bit of footage of the camera in that process. Today I want to do a full kind of review, looking at some of the pictures, looking at some of the videos, some of the images. First, I want to talk about the camera itself. There's some things that I like about it. There's some things that I don't like about it. I've taken a bunch of notes. I've run this camera for 2 months now. I've had it out in the wild in my backyard, so I have a ton of pictures of rabbits, no deer, which is crazy because I have deer all the time in my backyard, but not a single deer is on camera. But I have a lot of footage of rabbits. I have footage of me. I have footage of the kids, cats, a fox. So there's some cool images on here, and I just want to show you guys my final thoughts on this camera. Let's get stuck in. This camera has been a really good camera. Getting it set up, I thought that the setup took a little bit longer than other cameras, but overall I think it went pretty well. Now, getting it set up and actually putting it out there and putting some corn down, some feed down, it took a lot of photos. I have over 3,000 photos just since the end of February, 28 videos, and I had it on a 32 gig card, and it used 16% of the card. So over, 3,200 images, only 16% of the card. That's really good. I will tell you, I have the Energizer lithium batteries in here. So I went with the lithiums. I'm not sure if that's focusing or not. It hasn't shown any battery loss so far. The battery still shows 100%. The camera has been working flawlessly. Looking at the camera design, I like that it's small. It's a small camera. I think that it's hidden pretty well, even though this is a pretty big screen here, so it's kind of reflective. If you had it out in the woods, other hunters are probably going to see it pretty easily. So I know a lot of guys are trying to take Sharpie and try to, camouflage it in. Some guys are even getting really creative and they're putting leaves and stuff on here. I like to do stuff like that, but I tried it and it didn't work out for me because one of my leaves actually, went over the sensor and then I wasn't getting any photos. Overall, I think it's a nice looking camera. I like that it's small. One of the things that I don't like is there's no lock here on the door. You have no way of locking the door, so any Joe Blow can come up and just pop the door open, and unfortunately he can take your SD card, he could take your batteries, he could turn your camera off, he could also take your SIM card. So in this camera, it does have a SIM card. It can take either AT&T or Verizon. Some guys really like that. Me personally, I'd rather choose which carrier I want, even though maybe it limits me. That SIM card is part of the camera and you can't remove it. I actually prefer that because what I don't like is when people harass your cameras and then they steal your SIM card. Now you have to buy a replacement SIM card, where if it was part of the camera inside internally, you wouldn't have to do that. I just prefer that better. Some guys might like the versatility of having the ability to switch between a Verizon and AT&T, but for me personally, I'd rather just be part of the camera. One of the things that was brought up to me by a viewer of the video, he asked me if it was really easy to open this door. He said that he was worried about maybe a squirrel or something popping it open. I can confirm that it kind of does open pretty easily. And it when you pop it, it really does pop open. I'm not putting a ton of force on there, but could happen. Not saying it's gonna, but it could. I would really like that they had the ability to put a lock on the door. They have a cable lock slot right there, as you can see in the footage, but they don't have a door lock. The antenna is really nice. It's got a fold up antenna, so I do like the antenna. And overall, I think the camera is quality built. Looking at the image quality of the camera, it has taken a tremendous amount of photos. It took 2,100 photos alone in March. Now, a lot of those photos are of my kids. My kids are running around, they're driving on four-wheelers, they got a dirt bike, their bikes, they're playing. So it did take a lot of photos of my kids, which is fine. But in April, it took 99, and I switched it over to video. So I wanted to run it on video for a while. The one hiccup that I ran into is I kind of screwed up because you have to change it to video in the ScoutTech app. So I went in the ScoutTech app, I changed it to video, and I didn't turn the camera to offline, so it was still online. It was still sending me images, and it burned through my data in a matter of 3 hours. It was like my data was just gone. And so I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I ran out, and then I turned the camera to the offline mode. And when it went to offline mode, it was still taking pictures, it was still taking the videos, but it wasn't sending them to the app. So then I decided to go back to the picture mode. Once I did that, I turned it back to the online mode, and I actually accrued some pretty hefty fees. So I wanted to see what the overages would be. I wanted to experience it. I did get an overage alert that I was going to run over my 100 megabytes. So the plans are, you know, $10 a month is 100 megabytes plus your line fee of $7. So that's $17 a month. Yeah, it's a little expensive, and the line fee is a little silly in my opinion. Now you'd have to go up to the next range, which is 250 megabytes, which is $15 a month. And that's really what I need to do to not get those overages, but I didn't end up doing that. And consequently, my bill in April was $31. Definitely make sure if you're gonna go over on your bill that you wanna bump it up to the next level. I got my bill through PayPal via the ScoutTech app, and there's no explanation as to why. It just shows you the charge. It doesn't break it down. It doesn't show you anything. So that's kind of a little, I don't know, I think it's kind of silly that they don't explain to you what you're paying for or why you went over. I mean, I guess it's not like super expensive, so maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. I did go on Exodus.com. I logged in. I tried to see the information on there, and all it shows me on there is that I just purchased this online. And when I was there, I just looked a couple days ago, I realized I never registered my camera. You have to register your camera within 30 days to get the no BS warranty, to get the theft protection. I didn't do it. I totally forgot. Luckily, I did it today, and it looks like it went through. So even though it's been over a month, it's actually been a couple months, it looks like they still accepted it. Definitely something to think about. You don't want to go over. You want that protection. You paid for it. You want that no BS protection. So make sure that you register your camera within 30 days of purchase from Exodus so you get that discount. Okay, so my total payments so far on February 21st is when I registered the camera. I had to pay 29 bucks, and that was because it was a prorated charge. So my initial month was 29, and then I ended up paying 31.10 for my overages for April 1st. I have not gotten the May bill, obviously, because it's still April. But I made some notes, and really, one of the things that stood out to me is the audio and video mode is really good. It has great audio, so there's an internal microphone in here. It works really good, and I will give high praise for the audio. You know, the videos, I think the night videos are pretty terrible. The day videos, I think, are pretty good. They're not perfect. They're a little bit grainy. And even so, versus the app and actually looking at them on the SD card, I think that, honestly, I don't think they're the best videos in the world, but it's a scouting tool. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're expecting perfect, at least for my camera, I did not get perfect. And I wouldn't recommend this. If you're looking for the highest quality video, I would not recommend this camera for that. If you're looking for a great scouting tool that you're going to be able to tell if it's a buck a doe, you know, how many points it has, I think you'll be able to do that. But if you're looking for top-notch quality, this is not the camera for you. I think the day pics were pretty good. Night pics were pretty good. The trigger speed seemed to be a little bit slow, and you can look through some of the pictures here with the rabbits. Almost all of these pictures are blurry unless the rabbits are just sitting still. So the trigger speed tells me at night it's not as great as it could be, and it seemed to be that the case for most pictures. If I looked at, say, a possum that was walking by slowly, or a raccoon, the pictures were good. Or a cat that was walking by slowly, the pictures were good. But you could tell when a rabbit or something was going by fast, it was pixelated, it was blurry, and that tells me that the trigger speed is just not that great. We talked about battery life. The battery life has been absolutely excellent. The app, the ScoutTech app, I'm very impressed with it. It was, I would say, a little bit more difficult to sign in and activate. But honestly, if you have any technical experience, if you play with smartphones, you'll figure it out. Pretty easy. Compared to other apps, yeah, maybe it took a little bit longer. But honestly, so far, using it, I think it's been great. The notifications come through good. I feel like the commands that I can give the camera, so if I want to change it from pictures to video, if I want to change the burst or, you know, the detection or whatever, it seems like everything goes through and it just connects perfectly. Now, I'm kind of close to Metro Detroit, so I'm getting great service here. I didn't try it out in the woods yet. Maybe that could change if your service area is not as good, but honestly, I was super impressed with the ScoutTech app. I felt like it worked great. My overall thoughts on this camera, I think it's a good camera. You know, 179 bucks, I think it's overpriced. I think you're kind of paying for that, you know, that no BS warranty. You're kind of chipping into the pot, so to speak. I truly believe that's why this costs as much as it does. I think they kind of have that built in where you're kind of prepaying for the no BS warranty. And you know, whatever, what is it, 20 bucks maybe more than this camera's probably worth? I think that $150, this would be a much better value. It would put it in somewhere close to that Reveal X Pro from Tactacam, which is a $150 camera. And really, the plans for that camera is a lot better. You can get 13 bucks a month, unlimited, and if you pay extra, so I think it's like 9 extra bucks a month, which would bring you at 22 per month, you can get unlimited HD downloads for video and pictures. So I don't know, in my experience, the Tactacams that I have, I don't have the new X Pro, but honestly, every Tactacam I've had, the video, the picture is superior to this camera, I believe, and it's going to be more affordable. You know, I wanted to make this video. I wanted to be helpful for you guys. I really was interested in picking this up. You know, I wanted to get a render, but there's no way that I would spend that kind of money to get a Exodus render camera. That camera is insane. This is supposed to be the budget camera. It is. It's more affordable. I still think it's a little bit overpriced. You know, and I don't want to hate on Exodus. I know they're a great company. They got some cool dudes working there. To be honest, I don't know. I don't think I'd buy another one of these. I really don't. I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to run it this deer season. Maybe I'll do a follow-up, like a long-term review. You guys tell me in the comments below if you're interested in that. Just wanted to get back to you guys, give you an update. And then turkey season's coming, starting here soon. I got a turkey video coming up next, and then we're getting out in the woods. So hopefully this video is helpful. If you like it, subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.